So remedies are very popular today. Everybody wants a health remedy that's going to fix everything that's been going wrong with them for the last 30 years. I hear from people in comments on my videos all the time, well, why don't you just tell me what to take and quit yammering on? But the reality is, if you're going to use remedies, it's important to understand what a remedy is. And even if a person's going to use a natural remedy, I'm going to do things naturally, they need to understand that a remedy can correct a symptom that a person is dealing with. But a solution will correct the actual underlying cause of the symptom. And this is important to understand because it's very common for someone to use a natural remedy that will improve a symptom, and they don't know that that remedy is actually magnifying the underlying cause that's creating the problem in the first place. So it's going to create a whole lot more trouble down the road. So when you're trying to use remedies, it's really important to understand what they're doing and understanding what's a remedy and what's really a solution. You don't want to miss this.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
In a lot of cases, we just want to feel better. Or maybe we just want this annoying symptom to go away. And so we're just looking for anything that can fix this symptom that we're experiencing. But it's important to understand that since a symptom is always a message from the body trying to let us know what is not working correctly, when we can correct the actual underlying cause of that symptom, well, now we're elevating the way that the body is operating. And it's amazing, the body can really fix a lot of things on its own when there are enough systems working correctly. So anytime you can correct a system in the body that is malfunctioning, you're elevating the way that the whole body is functioning. And now that body may be able to correct a lot of other issues that are going wrong that you might not even know about. Once enough things are going correctly, the body can do a lot on its own. So anytime that we can work to fix the actual underlying cause of a problem, it's a really big deal when it comes to our long-term health. So we want to try to listen to our body, listen to what it's trying to tell us, and when symptoms show up, we want to see if we can figure out the actual underlying cause instead of just using some remedy that's going to cover up that symptom. So here's an example of a remedy that would remove a symptom. And let's talk about acid reflux just because that's such a common symptom that people experience. And a very common natural remedy for acid reflux is either aloe vera or baking soda or calcium carbonate. Oh, it's natural, so it's calcium carbonate. But all these remedies work to turn off stomach acid and remove the symptom of the acid coming back up and burning us. But we know now that acid reflux is not caused by too much stomach acid like advertisers want us to believe. We know that acid reflux in most cases is caused by not having enough stomach acid. Not enough stomach acid to trigger that lower esophageal sphincter to close so that the food that's getting acidified in our stomach doesn't come back up and burn us. So if someone just has a small amount of acid, but it's not enough to trigger that valve to close correctly, now the small amount of acid that they have is coming back up and burning them. So when we can take something to further turn off stomach acid, like aloe vera also coats that esophagus a little bit too, but it's also an alkaline substance that's further alkalizing that stomach and turning off more of that acid. Baking soda is really just neutralizing stomach acid. A lot of people say, oh, I'm going to use calcium carbonate because calcium is healthy. Well, that's really what most antacids are made of, is just calcium carbonate. It's a very alkaline substance that neutralizes stomach acid. So when someone just has a small amount of stomach acid but not enough to trigger that valve to close correctly, they'll use one of these natural remedies that turns off the stomach acid completely, and now you remove that symptom of the small amount of acid coming back up and burning you. So you remove that symptom, yay, it was such a good natural remedy. But the reality is that you just turned off your digestion more. Your digestion was already having a hard time breaking down your food so that you can access the nutrients in that food. And you just turned it off more by using some natural remedy. So if we want to look to an actual solution for acid reflux, we would want to look at steps that would increase the stomach acid enough to trigger that valve so it can close correctly. If we increase the stomach acid, now we're helping the body function at a higher level. We're helping the body access nutrients in the food that we're eating. That's why we're eating food, so that we can break it down correctly and get the nutrients from that food. So a solution that some people might view as a remedy would be like a little bit of apple cider vinegar. If someone just needs a little bit of a boost, a little bit of apple cider vinegar can help acidify that stomach just a little bit more, maybe enough to trigger that valve to close, and then that symptom will stop. Most people need more aggressive steps like using betaine HCl to help acidify that stomach correctly. And now you're using the same solution that the body would normally use. But if the body can't make enough stomach acid, which can happen for a wide variety of reasons, a person could supplement with betaine HCl, and now they're using a solution. It's a solution that's fixing the actual underlying cause of the problem. And some people may say, well, if you're supplementing with betaine HCl, you're really just kind of using a remedy. You're just remedying the same way the body would want to remedy. You're still giving the body the ability to acidify. And that's correct, but a lot of people can't make enough stomach acid on their own because the body doesn't have the nutrients that it needs to create that hydrochloric acid. So if you can help the body break that food down correctly, access the minerals and the other nutrients that the body needs, now all of a sudden it has enough of those nutrients that it can start making more of its own HCl, and then the person doesn't need to supplement with the betaine HCl anymore. So that's a very common scenario that we see. But there are other issues that can restrict a person's ability to make stomach acid. So if they're just really stressed out and they're in a fight or flight sympathetic state where the body's not very good at making hydrochloric acid, well, they need to take steps to fix that as well. And that kind of brings us to another remedy that's very popular for acid reflux, and that would be celery juice. And a lot of people view this as a remedy, but the reality is that celery juice contains a lot of the nutrients that the body needs to be able to make more of its own hydrochloric acid. And a lot of people are having reflux because they have a bacterial overgrowth in the stomach where bacteria really should not be thriving. And the waste product from that bacteria is making the stomach too alkaline. And celery juice has the ability to kill off bacteria. So in one way, that actually might be a solution for some people by helping them kill off a bacterial overgrowth that's basically causing the reflux to happen by alkalizing all the acids in the stomach. Now, in a similar regard, some substances could actually be a remedy for some people and the actual solution for others. So let's look at magnesium with constipation, for example, because magnesium is a very common remedy for constipation. And the reality is that there's more than one possible underlying cause for constipation. And when we're looking at pretty much any health issue, most health issues can have 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 different underlying causes. So when you're going to use remedies, you're really going to help some people while you also have the ability to make some people much worse in some scenarios. So when we're looking at magnesium for constipation, magnesium is a very pro-catabolic mineral. So what that means is that our body should be in this catabolic state during the day at the cellular level, and then at night it moves to an anabolic rebuilding and repair state. And both of those states are appropriate. But if someone really gets stuck in that anabolic state most of the time, that can cause the body to send too much water to the kidneys and not enough to the bowels. So they'll like get up and pee all night, or they're peeing all the time, but their stool gets really hard and dry and very difficult to move because the body's not sending enough water to the right place. But magnesium is very pro-catabolic, so if you take enough to push that person into more of a catabolic state, now the body's sending more of the water to the bowels and less to the kidneys. And more water going to the bowels can help loosen up that stool and can help correct constipation issues for a lot of people. But the problem is some people have constipation because they're not making enough stomach acid and they're not acidifying their food correctly. So all of that food and all of their stool and everything moving through the intestinal tract is way too alkaline, and that alkaline state can really slow things down. And the slow movement can also make things hard and dry and difficult to move. So if someone's constipation is caused from a lack of stomach acid, they could use a whole bunch of magnesium, and that magnesium will just make so much water go to the bowels that it'll make it move, and it'll even create like a diarrhea situation for them, and they'll be like, yoo-hoo, all right, diarrhea. But they really didn't fix their problem, because their problem wasn't that they were leaning too far on that anabolic state. So then that magnesium just becomes a remedy for them, but it's not really fixing the underlying cause of the constipation for that person. If somebody's really stuck in an anabolic state, then taking magnesium can help improve that particular imbalance, and that imbalance may be creating the constipation for some people. So in that case, the magnesium could be a solution for some folks, but maybe just a remedy for others. And when you really want to look at remedies, you can look at magnesium that people also use for insomnia a lot. And there's different causes of insomnia. Some people are having insomnia because they don't have enough minerals in the system for the body to function correctly, and the body's kind of freaking out at night and say, hey, get up and go get me some food so I can get some nutrients here. But if someone took a mineral supplement like magnesium, well, now they're lifting their mineral resources and they can sleep better. So that helps that one person lift the minerals and fix the problem that was an issue for them. But the real problem is that a lot of people can't sleep because at the cellular level, they're stuck in that catabolic daytime state that we were just talking about. So then they take magnesium because they hear that it's the best remedy for insomnia, and they take magnesium and they push themselves even more into that daytime state, and they can't sleep like all month long. So they made their situation much worse because they were trying to use a remedy instead of looking at where their body chemistry is, how their body is operating, and choosing some type of supplement or dietary change that was going to work with their body instead of against it. So this is why we really don't like to use remedies according to a symptom that a person is dealing with. If you're just looking at symptoms, you're just throwing darts at the remedy dartboard. You're guessing. You're hoping that it works out. And the reality is, in a lot of cases, you're going to be making your situation worse. You really want to look at your chemistry, know what's going on to get a better idea of what things you should try first. And you can try these things out and then watch your chemistry and see, am I pushing myself in the right direction, or am I making things more in the wrong direction? Am I making my situation worse? And then you can make the right adjustments to really create some solutions and to correct some underlying causes. And when you can do that, remember, you can help the body function at a higher level, and then the body might be able to improve a lot of issues more on its own. The problem is we're not taught how to look at our chemistry and to have a clue what's going on with how our body is operating. We're just taught to try to mask a symptom. So if you want to understand how to do this a little bit, my book, Kick Your Fat in the Nuts, kind of walks you through how to do simple self-tests at home that you can do with tools you can pick up like at a pharmacy or a health food store. And the book is available on Amazon, but I'm going to put a link in the description below this video so you can get the whole thing totally for free. And that'll walk you through that process and help you understand how to look at your body chemistry and get an idea of what things may be going wrong and steps you can take to improve those imbalances or malfunctions and help the body function a little bit better. We hear from people all the time that have been trying to correct an issue for years or decades, and once they learn how to work with their body instead of against it, it just seems to get a whole lot easier, and that can be a whole lot more fun. So I hope that free book helps you understand how to look at your chemistry and find answers that are right for you. And if you want to dig into this topic a little bit more, you can jump over right now and check out our video on how does bioindividuality help. I can't wait to hear about your results.